I look into the mirror every day to see myself, but then other times I have to look into the mirror of the eyes of others in order to truly see myself. Yo, what's up everybody? How you doing? This is your Coach Renz, and I want to thank you for being with me right now. Thank all my patrons and everybody who subscribes. If you are finding me for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're on Facebook, jump on over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that bell icon so you know when I do live chats and these new videos drop. Try to do videos every day. Sometimes I get thrown off my game. But I want to start this one by telling you guys a small, slight story. No, it's not story time with an alchemist, but it is a little alchemical in itself. Here's the thing. A long time ago, there was a crystal clear lake in the middle of a forest. And every day, Narcissus would journey to the crystal lake, and he would peer into the lake, marveling at himself. And there was always these forest nymphs who was always seeing him and watching him, and they marveled at his beauty. But he would ignore them. And every day, he'd peer into the crystal lake to see himself, to see his reflection, to marvel at his beauty. But then one day, Narcissus came to the lake, peering into himself, leaned over a little bit too far and fell into the lake. Not knowing how to swim, he drowned and died. The next day, the nymphs who came to the same spot that he always would come to, in their grief and their sorrow, planted a beautiful flower that became known as a narcissus flower. And at that moment, the lady of the lake spoke to the nymphs, asking, "Where is Narcissus? Where is Narcissus?" The nymph said to the lady of the lake, "I know, we miss him dearly. He was so beautiful. And we love looking at him. And you got to watch him every day. You got to peer and notice and see his beauty every day. Every day he came. He came so that he can see his beauty, and you got to see it every day." And the lady of the lake said that it was not his beauty that I saw. I never even knew he was beautiful. But by looking into his eyes, I saw the beauty of my own reflection as the crystal clear lake. This is an old story. If you read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, it actually is told in the beginning of that book. So go get The Alchemist. It is a book we will cover. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine over the last few days. They're going through some struggles, and I mentioned this in my video yesterday on Outwitting the Devil, Chapter 9, Part 2. That in going through their struggle, that one of the spouses consistently blaming the other, not wanting to look inside themselves. We often hear that we have to look deep inside ourselves in order to discover who we truly are. And we're going to break these things down for a second. Even in looking deep inside in the mirror to see who we are and looking deep inside ourselves, we do need to do this. Because we will spend all day and all year and all our lives blaming other people for the iniquities that we suffer in our own life. When in truth, a lot of the suffering that we encounter is suffering that we created for ourselves. That Narcissus went and he viewed himself every day, seeing his beauty. And although that is good, that you should see the beauty that you have inside you, you must also look deep inside yourself to see where you are failing, where you are missing out, where you're having issues, where you may not be in a position to become the greatest version of yourself. We must consistently dive deep inside ourselves. And one of the ways that I want you to be able to do that is not to always look inside yourself and be like Narcissus and only see the beauty and the glory that you may have, because you are beautiful and you are glory. You are the God, goddess within. You have all of that. You do. You are beautiful. You are wonderfully made. You are elegant. You are all these things. But we also need to see what you're not. What you're not. You know, a long time ago, a 14th century monk wrote, in the original understanding of the agnostics, he wrote, and this is also in the Hindu tradition, where it talks about what God is not. That in order to understand what God is, you have to first understand what God is not. And as Alan Watts says, had said once, that God became man so that man could understand how to become God. You are in the material form. You need to understand what you are not in order to know what you are. Some of you may say that I am loving, but are you loving? How much loving are you along the polarity scale? We know that you are loving, but where? Are you all the way to the right of ultimate love, or are you barely away from the left? Just a twinkling of love, a smattering of love. Where are you on the scale? Because that is what we must recognize. Where are we on the scale of things? When you say that I am a great friend, where are you on the scale of friendship? Between great friend, between best friend and enemy, where are you on the scale of friendship? Where are you on the scale of financial management? Where are you on the scale of any of these things when you look into the mirror? Instead of saying, this is where I am, this is what I am. What are you? Where are you not? What are you not? Find that out first. Let's look at that. You say that you're a great friend. Are you? Are you there when the person needs you? Do you answer the phone when they call you? Do you show up when they're in distress? Do you have their best interests at heart? Are you considerate of them? How much consideration do you give them? When you say that you are supportive, well, how much support? Are you supporting people in the way that they would need that support? Or are you supporting them in a way that enables them to continue to flounder in life, to continue to drift through life? Many parents have that issue. They say they support their kids, but they're supporting their kids to the point where their children are becoming lazy. They're becoming sad. They're becoming, a good way to say this. I asked a customer once, are you raising your son to be the kind of man that you would date? Because if you're not, then why are you raising him that way? Are you tolerating from your son what you wouldn't tolerate from a man to be your husband? If you are, then why are you raising him that way? Are you raising your daughter to be the kind of woman that you would know a great man would be attracted to? If you're not, why are you raising her that way? Find out what you're not. See what you're not, and then you'll truly know what you are. If you may think that you are at the higher planes of something, but in truth, you're not. You may not be too far low, but you're not there. You're not where you think you are. So understanding what you're not is a way to understand what you are. Just as the Hindu, at the end of their book, they talk about what God is not in order to understand what God is. The monk in the 1400s wrote about what God is not. The first agnostic understanding was what is God in the dark heavens. Not this, I just don't know, but it's what God is not in order to know what God is. What are you not in order to know who you are, what you are? Let's look at that first. And that when we do that by looking in the mirror, every day look in the mirror and truly see yourself. Truly see yourself. Hey, I looked in the mirror this morning. I know I'm getting a little scruffy. I need to get this trimmed up. It's a simple thing. But what does it also mean? It means that, am I taking care of myself to my fullest ability? Am I attentive to every detail that I need to be attentive towards? Am I ensuring that things get handled in a timely manner? There are certain levels of that I am not. And when I recognize that I am not utilizing my time as wisely as I should, then it makes me realize that I am not as effective in my time management as I should be. So then let me change that. Let me look into that mirror, see myself for who I really am, and make the changes. Make the changes. Now the other thing that Narcissus discovered is that the lady of the lake saw the beauty in his eyes. The crystal clearness of his eyes reflected her beauty. And the lady of the lake never saw the beauty of Narcissus, but saw the beauty of herself in the reflection in his eyes. As we was having this discussion over the last few days with a friend of mine, come to realize that sometimes you have to see what other people are saying about you. Now, not everybody, not those who have malice intent, not those who are negatively charged against you and are out to hurt you, but those who are either neutral or do love you. Neutral or do love you. And this is vital. This is vital. This is vital. First, let's talk about those who love you. Those who love you tend to have your best interest at heart. Although they tend to play softball with you, they tend to have your best interest at heart. When they tell you that you are lacking in certain areas or that you are great in certain areas, they're telling you not to try to hurt you. They're telling you in order to build you. Some people miss out on the building because they're too concerned about the emotional aspects of the person that loves them telling them the truth about them. And they miss out on the actual construction that they can have about themselves. When you find yourself automatically coming to the defensive when someone says to you that, well, this is what you are and this is what you are not, when you do not take it into consideration that, are they speaking truth to me? Are they seeing something that I can't see myself? You know, here's the thing. If I'm standing looking in the mirror, I can't see the back of my head. In order for me to see the back of my head, I need another mirror behind me. That other mirror behind me is the eyes of someone else. Someone else standing behind me can see the back of my head. The barber doesn't need a mirror to see the back of my head. When they stand there, they can see the back of my head. Your people who love you, they can see the back. They can see the parts of you that you can't see in the mirror. They can see the parts that you can't get that angle to really, you can't twist enough to see it. They can see it. They can see those parts of you that you may not want to face. They can see it. The only thing about the person who loves you is that they may play softball with you. You have to have that person who's honest. They don't have to be brutally honest, but honest with you to be able to tell you. But you have to be a receiver of it. Remember, your brain, your consciousness is the receiving unit from the great storehouse of knowledge and information. And that knowledge and information is all around you. And it's in the eyes of others as well. Now, those who are neutral oftentimes are your best. Oftentimes can be your best. Because they have nothing to gain. They have nothing to lose. They merely see what they see. They merely see what is going on. Now, of course, some of you are going to say that it depends on the other person's perspective. And yes, this is true. Other people have different perspectives of life. But that person who is neutral, if they've been watching you, they've been seeing you, and they say to you that, you know, this is a pattern that I see within you. This is a situation that I see. When I see a person who lives this certain lifestyle, this is what the results have been of their life. I was recently explaining to someone that the majority of people who are successful in any endeavor, whether it's financially, whether it's relationship, whether it's health, whether it's anything, the more organized that person is when it comes to dealing with that situation. Doesn't mean they're organized in every aspect of their life, but a person who's organized in any particular situation are usually successful at it. But when you're disorganized, you're usually not successful at whatever that thing is. Let's take money, for instance. If you're not tracking every dollar that you spend, every dollar that comes in, if you're not tracking the flow of currency in your life, then usually you're not as successful with managing your money. And the only way that you may think you're successful is that you know you make way more money than you spend. But even that is unsuccess, because you're not successful because you could be utilizing a certain amount of that money to build more revenue so that you don't have to work for your dollar. So you're still not successful. You're just given the image of being successful. You may not have to worry, but if a big enough hit comes, then you'll be worried. Then you'd have a problem. Then all of a sudden you'd have to reorganize. So the more successful the more accountability you have, the more successful you're going to have. The more success you're going to have. If a person's home is disorganized, they're not going to be as successful in maintaining a household. If a person's work is not organized, they're not going to be as successful in maintaining their work. Sure, there's the disorganized artist, but those artists are usually called starving artists. It's the business artist who is organized in understanding how to run a business and how to market themselves are the ones who are successful, are the ones who you see in the galleries, the ones who are selling. There's an artist in North Georgia. I can't think of this guy's name, but he makes it's ugly to me. These crazy looking fisheye things. I forgot his name. I wish I could remember the name right now. It's been years since I've seen one of his portraits. But this guy makes tons of money throughout North Georgia and the Appalachian Mountain chain because he's organized his business. He's an artist, but he's organized his business so that he is one of the more popular artists in the North Georgia Appalachian Mountain area. Why? He's creative. He probably has a room that's designed to be creative and be disorganized, but the rest of his life, the selling of his life, the business part of his life, organized. And sometimes it takes the neutrality of a person, them outside eyes, to see it. The Lady of the Lake saw her own reflection in the eyes of Narcissus. But it was the nymphs who saw the beauty of the lake, who saw the beauty of Narcissus, and also planted a flower commemorating the spot to which he drowned. They weep for him, but the Lady of the Lake never wept for him. One loved him, the other was neutral. She saw the beauty of his eyes, but she saw her reflection in that beauty, but never saw his total beauty, while the nymphs did. You can see your total beauty. You can see everything great about you, but also see what's not so great. See the areas that you need to improve on. And then find that trusted friend, that trusted love interest, that trusted family member. Find that neutral person, that coach, that co-worker, that person who has nothing to gain, so that you can see what you are not in order for you to be able to change and become who you desire to be, so that you can free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is not negotiable.